It's time. We're on the air. Do not talk. Talking about the two things you're never supposed to talk about, religion and politics. I am Charlie Simons. Thank you so much for tuning in, liking, subscribing, sharing. That's how you help this show grow. That's how you help this ministry progress, is by, first of all, just doing the simple thing of liking the show wherever you're watching or listening to it right now. And if you can subscribe or follow this page, join this page, subscribe on Rumble, follow on Rumble. You'd be helping us tremendously. And sharing these shows as I bring to you people who you don't hear from for the most part in the mainstream media and the legacy media, as they call it, the big corporate monster that brings us crap like this.
What is wrong here? What is the disconnect that people think that Joe Biden is presiding over the worst economy in a decade?
That is Representative Eric Swalwell, by the way, being asked this question by this talking head on MSNBC. Swalwell, a consummate liar, accomplished at it after his little fling with the Chinese spy Fang Fang. Swalwell is still in tremendous positions of power. The dullard from Danville is what we call him. He's a Bay Area goofball, and he's about to explain why we, the American people, just don't get it, that the economy is doing great.
Economy is a comeback. Our economy is a comeback story, and we've got to start telling that story, Michael. And Democrats, I think, when it comes to messaging, we're at our worst when we try and speak to the head, and we try and get all cerebral, and we talk about the numbers and unemployment numbers and GDP growth. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, those numbers. We don't let truth get in the way of facts, or whatever it is that Joe Biden said. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? You're just too stupid to understand that you're doing really, really well? Remember what Ronald Reagan said? Are you doing better than you were 4 years ago? Well, are you doing better than you were 3.5 years ago? I'm not. I don't know about you. There's a guy who is trying to make some inroads and trying to change the dominance of clowns like that, presenting to you the news as they see fit. And his name is Darrell Becker. Content Safe is the name of the company. And I'm going to be talking with him in just a second. And if I could invite you, though, in the meantime, please, to go to our website, do-not-talk.com. Get yourself one of these big old 15-ounce mugs where we talk about the two things you're never supposed to talk about, religion and politics. 15-ounce mug. It's a big mug, baby. I like big mugs. I cannot lie in them. Other brothers can't deny. We have one of these T-shirts, too. God, Family, Country on the back, and on the front is that Do Not Talk logo. You buy one of those or two of those or 18 of those, you'll be helping support this ministry and helping us stay on the air. And also, you want to save up to 80% off My Pillow products? Here's how you do it. There's a promo code, Lee. That's my middle name. I have a promo code for you, up to 80% off. MyPillow.com/Lee. That's MyPillow.com/Lee. Up to 80% off all American-made products waiting for you right now. MyPillow.com/Lee. All right, let's get into it. Content safe. What the heck is that? Let's find out together on Do Not Talk. Hit it!
Yep, here he comes. Riding his trusted steed through the Sierra foothills as he brings you the news. He calls himself
Charlie.
What you doing, Charlie?
Sorry, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. There you are. Look how cute you are. Yeah.
Hey, Charlie. What's with the dark glasses?
And now, here he is, a man of God, living in a world of Disney.
Ow, Charlie.
Charlie Simons.
Charlie bit me.
Bit you like one of Fanny's boyfriends. Hello, welcome, Darrell Becker, to the show. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Charlie. It's so great to join you here.
Oh, I appreciate it very much. So, content safe. And how is that keeping my contents safe? What the heck is that?
Well, yeah. I mean, have you ever had a YouTube channel? Have you ever been like
I do. I
basically?
got kicked off it, as a matter of fact. So that's my
Yep.
claim to fame.
Yeah, so in 2018, me and my business partner Matt Raymer, we saw what happened to Alex Jones and around 1,000 other content creators. They all were summarily removed from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, from like Stripe, PayPal, Mailchimp, the email service right there. They, like all of these big tech companies, they showed their hand because they in lockstep removed the same creators, especially Alex Jones, and of course the sitting president, Donald Trump, at that time. And that was the tell to say, it's time to launch this business. What we do at contentsafe.co is we get your show automatically up onto Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, Brighteon, like places like band.video that Alex Jones made after the fact, and a growing list of other places, that are also video platforms. So if you've ever put your video up on one platform, you understand that it's a process. Are you a solo show, or do you have a media team do your work for you?
I got a
You know.
producer out of North Carolina, and his name is Kirk Tishon with Forefront Arrow Productions, and he's a one-man band, and he
Yeah.
has to
So there you
individually
go. So
put up all these shows on all these different platforms.
okay, so he is spending a bunch of time. You're paying him. He's spending a bunch of time to do all of that, and we do it automatically. So you upload to one place, and it's going to all those places instantly. And like that's what's happening at the schedule that you say it wants you want it to go to. This is what we do. So now there's the other trick to it. Like you could only be on so many platforms. We also have the ability to navigate your whole library. How many shows do you have total, Charlie? Like, how many
Uh,
shows?
that's over 300.
Right. So we'd get all 300 up on every platform that you want to be on. Now that could take, days to weeks, depending on how big the files are. But we navigate everything. We can actually backfill it like in chronological order perfectly. And this is what we do. So then people go over there to BitChute and Odyssey and Brighteon, and they see, oh, check this out. We've got Do Not Talk, and we have all the shows there. Now you look authentic. You don't look like you have 20 shows there, or 5 shows, or 1 show. You have all of your shows there. And that's important because,
That's
now
I
you.
don't know of anyone else that does that.
No, we are pioneers in this business right now.
Yeah,
And the fact
yeah.
that we're uploading to these platforms actually is another way that we're pioneers, which has its pros and cons, by the way. Like when you're a pioneer and you go out there in the wilderness, you come back with a back full of arrows. But here's the deal. We handle censorship because we're aiming for you. We work for you, the content creator, the independent media, people who are in what sometimes you call yourself the alternative media. I love the term independent media because you're independent and you're giving a message out there. And I certainly am on my fair share of shows promoting my work for Content Safe, but for sure, like having great discussions of open-minded people, whether God, guns, and country, like the full freedom of what is expressed, certainly, in this country. Once in a while on other countries, because then they have it really hard for they have no no First Amendment over in some other countries.
Like in
But
China, I mean, they got WeChat, and then there's WeChat. I mean, that's it.
yeah,
They're not even allowed to see most of what the rest of the world sees.
luckily, everyone now, like this is the thing about tyranny. Tyranny is like a squeezing of the hands. Okay, it's like trying to squeeze, like basically. And what happens between the fingers? Liberty, 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 liberty. People want liberty. There's a market for liberty. So the more that
Amen.
the tyranny squeezes, the more there's a bigger market for liberty and freedom and choice. So as they squeeze, as we're going to see what happens with Rumble based on their ownership, if they start to censor, the moment they start to, they're going to squeeze market share back over to the original gangster BitChute. They're going to squeeze market share to Odyssey. These are robust video platforms. They're going to squeeze it over there to Brighteon and Band.video that Alex Jones made, and Rockfin, and all of these other places. We got Minds. There are many places to put your videos up. And right now, the only reason you could stay in Rumble land because it works really well. There's brand recognition. There's a lot of understanding about that until obviously the $700 million that flooded into Rumble. Oh, where did that come from? As soon as that actually has an impact in such a way as to create a corralling or stifling of free speech, and then creators like you will see the need to be on other platforms, and you'll find out that it's not so simple to upload. You'll find out that your media team is like, yeah, we uploaded and then an upload failed,
Right.
and
That's
upload
what
and
yeah,
upload
that's what I
failed.
was just gonna say. It's here's what I've encountered, what we've encountered, and there's we stream and we use StreamYard. Both of those though, when you can post to multiple platforms. However, it's limited and they choose where you get to go. So
Yeah,
I'll choose as many as I can on my Facebook pages and on LinkedIn, which is also very woke, and on YouTube, and what's the other one? Oh, of course, X. Thank God for X. Thank God for Elon Musk. He has changed the landscape. He has changed the narrative in dramatic ways, and they're attacking him, and it's only going to get worse in this election year. They're trying to bring down that platform, which is weird, and nobody's even screaming about it or talking about it. It's bizarre what's happening. But
I'll see it.
what you're talking about is you have all, for example, Telegram, you mentioned BitChute. These are all ones that are not offered, at least on StreamYard. If you want to
No.
get this show to go out on different platforms, you're changing that.
Yeah, we're gonna get, we've been working on providing streaming services because the coding for that is challenging because it's live. It's different than what we were set up to do. But we're probably, I don't know, Q3, Q4 of 2024. We'll see about launching that because we want to offer not just what people have not ever heard of before. Like people have never heard of what an automatic pumping your shows out. Like you upload one time. It doesn't matter where you upload to with Content Safe. You could upload directly to us at Content Safe, but for most media producers like you just keep going to where you go, which is probably Rumble for now. And we'll just grab that. We grab the title, we grab the thumbnail, we grab the description, we grab the video file, and then we replicate it to all the places that you tell us to do it at the schedule that you tell us to do it. And that's the simple service of contentsafe.co. That's what we're doing. And that means we grow your audience, means more eyes and ears on your message. You're solving problems. Like, how do I get that awesome coffee mug that's 15 ounces that you showed off right here before I jumped on the show? How do I get that? And I need to get that. And so you're solving my problem by showing me how to get
You're
that. How do I get
solving
that
my
t-shirt
problem to
signed?
get a 15 ouncer.
Okay, there are bigger problems, obviously. I mean, I heard something in there that was a little tricky because it's like, is your life better or worse? And it's like, well, if you're a standard American diet, standard American person, and you didn't really track the market, you might not have understood that. Guess what? This is like a really, it's like I've been screaming for a year that it was the bull market for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So I made it a very good year, of course, because I have a few functioning brain cells and I understand how to use cryptocurrency to my profit, or any investment for that matter. If you know how to track the markets, if you know how to look at actual technical details, you can do this. You can do it well. I've upgraded my car thanks to that. I am very grateful. So, these are things that you can do. But if you're old of mind and old of heart and you don't understand new technology, you could be left in the digital dust. You could spend 2 hours on Netflix. You could spend 2 hours learning digital skills that make money. You could, basically choose your hard. You could choose to, basically get divorced, or you could, choose to communicate. Both are hard. Choose your hard. Basically, that's what
Use your
life is
heart.
like,
I like that.
right now.
Right.
And there's a lot of ways you could do that. You can choose to just like, try to say the things that YouTube will allow and be up there on there. Try to say the things that Facebook will not censor you for. And trust me, there is a good reason you want to have short video clips up on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and wherever it's going to make sense to put them. And we have a risk management system at contentsafe.co where we'll just crawl over your little videos, make a transcript, and crawl and look for certain words. And we could flag them to say, hey, guess what? This video probably is not going to make it over there. Just change this word, blip this one out. There are little funny censor sounds and things like that. You can, or people get creative because I don't know in this day where things can be claimed to be medical misinformation. I don't know if you
Yeah.
ever got to experience that in these last 3 years, but
Well, that's what got me kicked off YouTube was when I put on Dr. Judy Mikovits, and we talked about the
yep.
whole COVID thing. Yep.
Yeah,
That's what
no,
got me
no.
kicked off.
Yeah, so there but meanwhile, it's ready for you again because when you're a small creator, unless, they have specific spiders to crawl over and look for your face and your voice like they do for Alex Jones. They don't create those like spiders, these codes that to crawl over and look for everyone. They only create those codes for specific people, like because they can't afford to create ones for everyone. So you could have people uploading, I know it's not Charlie Robbins, Ryan Christian, Last American Vagabond, and I know that he always will create and keep himself up on YouTube as a YouTube live like show, a brand new feed. He'd put the advert out there on his social media and other places to let people know where to find the live show. And just like you, I think he's probably using StreamYard. He's up there. He'll always be up there and he'll be manually doing what we plan to do in the future, which is really challenging work, by the way, to come up with a new channel every single time, you know, because they're going to try to scrub him after they find him. And
Oh
that's
my
understandable.
goodness, you're right. I did not even think about that. Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
huge.
So, no, trust
I
me. Like I
The
said
simple
before,
thing, the biggest
tyranny
problem here
is a
for me,
squeeze.
if I could, Darrell, the biggest problem for me, and what you're doing and what you're talking about and why it's so exciting to me, is the fact that we have been so shunned and scattered and isolated and shut down anybody who's trying to actually bring out other alternative truths to people on the left, and this is how they're reacting is by dismantling and destroying, kind of because they're doing their father's work just as quickly as possible, for his time is short. And their father is the father of lies. And his job is to steal, kill, and destroy. And we don't fall in line with them. So they've got to shut us up and shut us down. I hate that my fellow conservatives, and this is why I couldn't even care less about YouTube anymore. Don't care. That's where the money is, though, unfortunately, because that's where the most amount of people are watching, and they pay the best. And a lot of these people are making a lot of money hiding their language. They use their little code words, so they stay up on YouTube. And I'm a friend of mine down at SoCal does a show, and he and I are on each other's shows quite often. And he's always saying, "Charlie, don't say this, don't say that. There's all these words. Use this instead." I'm going, "You can use that. I don't want to do that. I just don't think it's right, and it pisses me off, and it makes me just want to completely rebel." So that's why so far Rumble has been a godsend, but Rumble's also hard to navigate. It's not designed as well as YouTube, and it's really difficult to actually get subscribers on Rumble. They don't make it easy, and
They don't.
I'm excited by what you're saying, very much so. But you're telling me this hasn't happened yet. This is something you're working on right now.
No, I'm telling you right now, you could go to contentsafe.co. You could, definitely and after this show, I'm gonna email specifically you and Matt of contentsafe.co so that to make sure that you guys both talk and you could get your show automatically up on at least 5 places and like start the process because you're making money with your show. You have merch at least, you've got My Pillow, you got a sponsor, at least one. You're making money. There's too many shows, Charlie, that I go on and ask you, "What's your monetary strategy?" And they're not making money. They're doing it as a labor of love. They're trying to get donations. They are
That's me.
literally going backwards. And this
Yeah.
needs to pay for things like in this case, StreamYard, which is a great service. I love it. But, that's for now until say whoever owns StreamYard decides to go to, be a bit censorship heavy with a heavy hand, like to start to because this is what, like basically like putting your finger on the scale, like that's what government does. It puts its finger on the scale to say we favor these companies during World War COVID and we do not like these companies, so they have to close down because they are not essential. You know,
Did you say
that
World War COVID?
I did because it was an asymmetrical warfare. It was
That's
asymmetrical
awesome.
warfare. All warfare. It caught people by surprise. It moved money, like all wars, moved
Yeah,
money from some
that's
hands, like the many
brilliant, and it
hands,
affected the
into
world.
the few.
World
Yeah,
War COVID,
across the
man, I
world,
love
it was
that.
a world war. It hit a lot of different,
Mm,
different demographics in many, many different nations, and it showed
yeah,
their hand that there is no more nations. There aren't any more separate nations. They are all now multinational corporations that are in charge of regions, and they do
yeah,
that by
yeah,
having powerful economic power. Like
yeah,
that's redundant by having serious economic power. So you understand, like if you have tyranny, like I said earlier, it's a squeeze, and between my fingers, squeezing out is the desire and the market for liberty. Like what your message is. It's more than the coffee mugs and the shirts and the merch that you have. It's your messages of solving problems, Charlie. That's what you're really doing. Your diehard fans are here. They're buying the merch because they love to look at an example of why they're here watching you. They like to see you covering the what I call raw sewage and what you would call the mainstream media. Like, I can't bear to watch any of that, honestly, nowadays. But I
I
get
bet.
it because my clients, they are covering it. There's a little show called Grand Theft World. They spend 5 hours every Sunday covering the the raw sewage that is mainstream media, full of lies, basically, like you would say. And then just, taking time to expose that. Well, people are here on this show because you want to hear that. You want to see examples of the lies, and you want to be able to point out exactly how inaccurate things are. This is not an awesome economy if people are struggling to make money. Those who were not blessed, like, and also fortunate enough to know that changing times require you to change your actual approach to how you make money, your approach to how you actual study information. You know, you're like studying for the wrong test basically, and you're not going to pass. And this test has changed now. So yeah, I called it World War COVID because, and I my girlfriend hates when I do that.
I
She's
love
like,
it,
just
man, I'm gonna
say the
steal that.
pandemic. But I'm on the show, so and
I'll give
she's
you
never.
I'll give you credit for it,
Oh
but I'm stealing that.
oh no, please do, because
That's
it is
brilliant.
it's a reality. If you
Yep,
asymmetrically move money in such ways, and you cause such death and mayhem with experimental injectables that they called mRNA vaccines, then that is a war against people. And we're still seeing the impact of that war in terms of go to VAERS,
right,
openvaers.com or .org, I forgot which one. Either way, you can see that the number of people dying, like claimed to have been like hurt or killed after these vaccines, so called, is larger than any other vaccine release in history, and that's a lot of people. So we have but luckily there's one good thing on our side, Charlie. Humans are resilient. Humans can take a lot. So even with all the myocarditis reports and the many other died suddenly reports, these athletes who suddenly fall down in the midst of things, these newscasters who suddenly fall down because they didn't study for the test. They studied for the wrong test. Accepted, they were obedient and conformist, and they were not they were philosophically apathetic. They didn't understand how they work and how other people work to manipulate them. So they didn't study, and they bought the line, and some of them, some of them died, and a lot of them got hurt. A lot of people getting hurt, but a lot of people didn't get hurt. I got the injection. I'm just fine. They say that, right? You probably have heard,
right.
people who said that, and
Oh, yeah.
like they need to believe what they're right about because they build self-esteem on being right instead of building self-esteem on finding out what in their worldview is inaccurate and accurate, and changing it based upon evidence, not based upon feeling good and being in alignment with their husband, wife, their friends and coworkers,
Yep.
their family members, basically.
It's sad.
And that's a big deal.
I've actually been criticized, for, I'm a pure blood, as they say. I almost lost everything I've, built with I'm in the military. I can't even talk about in what aspect anymore because I'll be taken out. I'll be dishonorably discharged just for talking about this kind of stuff and affiliating with what I do for the military. So I can't talk about it, but suffice it to say, I was one of only 9 9 out of thousands that were granted a religious immunity, so I didn't have to get the shot. But there are friends of mine who did. They lined up, they got it because they didn't want to lose their position, they didn't want to lose their rank, they didn't want to deal with disobeying an order, a direct order. But we are supposed to disobey unlawful orders, and that was an unlawful order. And I said no, but I did it through religious exemption because of what's in the shot and the fact that they used aborted fetuses to develop it. I have a problem with that. And they couldn't deny it. But suffice it to say, every time I've talked about criticizing people who just fell right in line, taking the shot without even questioning, I get backlash from that because people are saying, well, I'm not considering their feelings because they might be scared that they took a shot. And I mean, the shot that I was saying all along, don't take, they might be scared now that they took it because of the adverse reactions they're seeing all over the world. They should be scared. And the simple fact that I'm talking about it, paints me as a bad guy because I might hurt their feelings and make them feel badly about making such a horrendous decision that affects your life and then pumping it into your children. You bet I'm going to call you on the carpet. And if that offends people and that makes people tune out and that gets me kicked off YouTube, so be it. Don't do that, because that was, as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't the mark of the beast, but it sure seemed to me like it's setting us up to take it. I don't know where you stand religiously, but I truly believe in the Bible, and that is the inspired word of God. And there are times coming where we're going to have to take that mark, or we're not going to be able to buy and sell or do anything. Well, what's that remind you of? We just went through that. Things were challenged in the court, but there's coming a time where you're going to line up and you're going to take that, or you're not going to do anything. So, yeah, I want to let you know now, you may have made a dumb mistake then. Don't make it again, because we're talking about your life in eternity. Sorry, preaching over. Sorry, Darrell.
That's okay.
My
No,
my
this is your show, and that's what people are here. They're showing up for that. They're not showing up for me. They don't even know me yet, but they know and like and trust you. You've got the KLT, know, like, and trust of your audience, and I'm trying to earn that KLT,
I thank
the know,
God for
like, and
that.
trust. But
I thank God.
if you're taking fire, that means you're over the target. You know, I'm pretty sure you heard that in the military. If you're if you're receiving fire, that means okay, that's contact with the enemy. Okay,
Yep, you're on
that
the
means that
target.
you are over the target, and
Mhm.
that's going to happen. But if you inspire people to hate you, that's good news, because that means that you're also, on the flip side, inspiring people to love you. Every 80 years this happens, of the division of people. And I could go back with example after example. This is all from the book called Pendulum by Roy Williams and Drew Michaels. And there's other books like The Fourth Turning, and there's many people have covered this topic of these 80-year cycles. 80 years ago, that would be 1944. Okay, and we had people like you and me, Americans, who were confused and bought into the media and the lies that were being promoted then, that it was totally okay to lock up their Japanese ancestry neighbors, that to
Right.
close down their
That's right.
businesses. That was
Mhm.
okay because they could just suddenly become spies, or to
Yeah,
maybe throw bricks through your German neighbors' windows, like that, because they could be in league with Hitler or something. There was that type of mindset of division of people against people. And over in Europe, of course, if you happen to, say, be Jewish, or like the Roma, so-called gypsies, or any other groups, they could be spreading typhus. This is what the story was at first. So they had to be put over there into these camps for everyone's protection, because they were
right,
contagious. Again, the
right.
germ theory of disease. Look it up. It's very faulty and false, by
Mhm.
the way. So this is a thing that happens every 80 years. 80 years before that, you have the Civil War, brother against brother, and you have the Napoleonic Wars over there in Europe. 80 years before that, you have the American Revolutionary War. Again, people who are pro England and basically pro these new colonies, this new nation that just started. And 80 years before that, you have the actual Salem witch trials, where you have actual, like, people like trying to test the purity of women by drowning them. Okay. Every 80 years, people go insane to divide up into their tribes, and
Yeah.
evidence is not part of it. You're not going to purchase contentsafe.co based on evidence. You're going to purchase it based on emotion, because 99% of you out there purchase things based on emotion, not on logic. You could tell yourself you do, but we in marketing know, and I'm the chief marketing officer. We in marketing know that you do not use logic and reason. You have not studied your informal logical fallacies. You couldn't name a fucking fallacy if your life depended on it. But you sure could say, well, uh, I trust Darrell. I like him. I'm gonna get some contentsafe.co services. I need my show to be replicated, or I'm gonna like send a message right now to Charlie and say, you better get their services. I like him. Or you don't trust me. He didn't shave today. I don't like people who look like Darrell or sound like him. And that's understandable. That's totally understandable. Like, I get it, like, and I want to inspire the passion, because if you don't inspire passion for loving or hating you and your message, that means that people don't care. And in this day and age, that's what's called marketing death. People don't care about your service. So yeah, getting the streaming services out there, like, I really want to like replace this StreamYard kind of thing, but at the same time, it shoots over to all the places. So you're up there live. That's a thing. That's a trickier thing, like, there, because yeah, we'll see about doing that. But like right now, just to get it up there on the censorship resistant platforms, if your show is up on BitChute and Odyssey and Brighteon and Band.video, it is not going away. If it's up on Rumble, for now, it's not going away. But you have to look behind the scenes. Who owns the company?
Has something changed with the ownership of Rumble that I'm not aware of?
They took a lot of money from the World Economic Forum, is what I looked into. They took a lot. I mean, we're talking like hundreds of millions of dollars. Look who they signed. They signed Russell Brand. Okay. And this is similar to when Spotify signed on with Joe Rogan. Okay. And like, I mean, right now, the audio version, I hope you have the audio version going out as a podcast, because I highly recommend that. But audio shows are still a little bit of the Wild West. And thank you, Aaron Schwartz, rest in peace, for making the RSS feed, which means that you have one way. You don't even need Content Safe or a system, basically. Your show can go out. And by the way, at Content Safe, we also distribute audio files, to make it go up through the system called Buzzsprout and get it up on all the podcatchers, iTunes, Spotify, etc. But the point is, audio files are the Wild West. They're still free. They're like, iTunes has not cracked down heavy on anyone quite yet, nor has Spotify yet. We've like kind of noticed that. It's when the video show comes out, it's these video platforms that we've seen with YouTube, and for sure the shorts over there, and live streams on Facebook and Twitter. It all does depend. So we can hope. I would say always keep publishing on all the platforms. Always keep doing it. Like, don't you don't care about who might be corrupt. You care about getting your message out there so that you're helping solve problems. Again, I told you the problems that Do Not Talk solves. You're actually exposing things, talking about it. You're bringing heart and love of God and country into the conversation. And that's important. And you're not the only show doing that, and that's important. And so it's really good to have more than one message out there. Big tech hates you. I'll tell you right now, they hate you, and they hate Do Not Talk. And the solution, of course, is just to use them. Use them as much as you can. And as far as the mark of the beast and like having to have like that, I think there will always be a market for tangibles and intangibles like Bitcoin that people will trade with. They'll say, I don't want to be part of that. I mean, I definitely know people around here on the big island of Hawaii where they just take solidly cash for things like landscaping, where it's like, oh my God, that's $20,000 of landscaping necessary to push the jungle away from your house. If you bought a fixer upper and the jungle is like all over the place, you can't live like that. You can't do that. You
Those are
have to
fir
push the
first
struggle away.
world problems.
You
Oh,
can't
shoot.
do that.
The jungle's encroaching on my compound.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what happens? Now
Jungle
it's
be
dark,
gone. Hello.
it's it's smelly, it's moldy, you're not getting light in there. It sucks. You can't
Oh,
grow
that's
any food
funny.
because it's dark, again. Now it looks beautiful. I'll give you that. It looks
Yep,
beautiful,
yep,
but
looks beautiful.
there's limits, you know?
That's hilarious. I'm excited about what you're doing. This makes me very, very happy because you are offering a great service for everyone. So far, I've continued to pound away at YouTube and get kicked off, and then get back on, then get kicked off. I've continued on Facebook, where I'm always getting, we've flagged this show, and you've gone against our community standards because you talked about World War COVID. But you know why I keep at it? For one thing, I know that there's all those other platforms out there, and my producer Kirk has us on those, but I've never worked them the way you're talking. I keep working the ones that everybody knows, but there's a reason for that. I don't want to just preach to the choir. I wanna be able to actually maybe make somebody think twice about something that they're doing or thinking of the way they've been voting. So that's why I keep plugging away where everyone else is, because I don't wanna keep preaching to the choir. But what you're telling me now is I can reach everything and everybody, and StreamYard doesn't let me do that. So far, WeStream doesn't let you do that. So this is great. This is great. You've mentioned it more than once. You said content singular, content safe, SAFE dot, and then you said co, not com,
Yeah, .co. Yeah,
dot
.co.
co. Now I didn't know there was a dot co. So see, I'm one of those older guys you were talking about. I'm not embroiled in this lifestyle so much so as just being a presenter, not a producer. So
It
these
makes
are
sense.
things I need to know. But a lot of people probably, and I bring this up because Darrell calls me this morning. Goes, Charlie, I haven't gotten a link yet. Well, yeah, I sent it to you like days ago. Where is it? And I sent it to .com. So if you're going to look it up, I just want to stress to you, it's not .com, it's .co, .co.
Yeah,
So
that's
content safe
contentsafe.co.
.co. Yeah.
I'm used to saying it out loud, like, a bit at this point. At this
But
point in my career.
we don't hear it. We automatically assume that it's calm because that's what we know, and that's all we've known, and that's what we're comfortable with. Like, for example, I had my original website was .net, and I had a lot of people say, "Yeah, nobody's going to find you, nobody's going to look for you because they're going to automatically put in .com." So I know there's so many now, including .tv, which I think is pretty cool. But we always go back to what we know, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And there's .io, there's like Zoom uses .us, for example, and that's a pretty heavy website. Zoom, I mean, like how much money is behind Zoom, and why couldn't they buy Zoom.com? That's crazy, right? But they couldn't because it was crazy expensive when they started, and at this point, everyone knows Zoom.us, so they use that, and that's what we all do. By the way, I love the video quality and everything on StreamYard, and I love
Yeah,
the green room and
no
everything
doubt.
on this whole system. We're gonna try to replicate it because that's the deal. Is like
Good.
this is what people want. You people like you're paying for it. Well, as soon as we offer it, then the what we give you is a little bit of a different assurance to say we love you. We love the independent media. We are anti-censorship. There's only a few things you can do that would stop getting content safe services or that would make us revoke your contract with us. And that is in basically if you ever tried to incite violence against a specific individual, which is illegal, and reveal their address where they live and make claims that it's good to go and hurt their family, which is illegal, and then we have that in our clause that we will stop doing business with you. But besides
Good.
that, you
Good.
have freedom of speech, you know, and there's that's basically it. You get to say your messages. And I think that it's really important in this day and age to be aware of your spiritual options, to say that to be in touch with whether it is Jesus or other forms of spirituality, that your spirit is alive, and it's especially alive when you come together with others of like mind and like heart to really feel the connection. I see it in my yoga classes that I go to. I see it in the jujitsu that I train in. I see it in the like once in a while when I go to church. You know, I don't do as often as you do probably, but I see it everywhere. It's real, and I want people to really be part of that, the connection that's beyond your little solo family, your nuclear family, and to really reconnect out there. I wanted to put that message out.
The left has a tremendous amount of money, much of it ill-gotten, especially those holding office. But George Soros comes to mind. His tactic now is buying up huge amounts of Spanish language radio stations. Who's he talking to? Why would he be getting involved in such a thing? Is radio that big of a moneymaker? No, not really, not anymore. Radio's all but dead. But yet he's buying huge amounts, and he bought controlling stock shares in Odyssey, which is the company that bought CBS Radio. They're the second largest radio station owning company in the nation. iHeartRadio is first, what used to be Clear Channel, and now it's and Odyssey is second, and now controlling interest, George Soros. What the is that?
Yep. I apologize for my previous F-bomb, but I'll tell you something, that it's important to understand that divide and conquer is happening.
Mhm.
So that's if they like, if the ruling class want us to be angry at any demographic or any individual, that I like that that's my cue to stop and pause, because that's similar like to the message of the devil right there. Like
Mm.
if the devil wants me to feel a thing or think a thing, I'm not going to do that right away. I'm going to stop and pause and say, well, now why would that be desired? Why would they want to do that? And I could think of, usually everything happens to for benefits, you know. Right now, why would they want to say that Bitcoin is bad? Well, because it benefits them. They want people like you to be scared of new technology and not take advantage of this crazy pumping bull market of $66,000 Bitcoin right now. Why would they want you to not take advantage of that? They want you poor. They want you to be scared. They want you to be against people who speak Spanish and are coming up from the border. And they want those people to be easily manipulated, and to bring in, specifically, if possible, if they can try to bring in criminals, they will. But by and large, they'll just be bringing in families.
They don't have to
And they'll,
try. The countries are releasing their prisoners and putting them on buses and trains, heading right towards our southern border. This is
they
happening. This has been happening for a long time. I'll
yeah,
never forget when President Trump said that criminals and rapists are coming across the border, and they freaked out and said that he was a racist for saying such things. Well, he'd be a racist if it was just one race coming across the border, but we're seeing them from all over the world, including China, who are streaming across our southern border right now. But the predominant amount of them are Spanish language. And you just nailed it. That's why George
yeah,
Soros would be targeting radio stations, because the only stations now that are still getting any kind of decent ratings and making any money are the news talk stations, the ones running shows like this and so on. And Spanish language. Spanish language is the only one still making money and still getting listenership, because that's where they came from. That's what they know. And he knows this. So he is getting the message out, and he's this army of anywhere from 6 to 11 million, depending on who you talk to, that have come across just in 3 years. It's easy to press that emotion button when you own the radio station and you're able to tell them what to do, think, and where to go.
yeah.
That's
And who's
why.
listening to the radio?
That's why this
I
is
mean, who
going on.
I mean, even even poor people now understand that they can get a cheap computer, or on their phone can now have access to any media they want, including any audio media that they want. Who would listen to the radio? And the answer, who would watch a mainstream media like CNN, MSNBC, or Fox? Old people who don't know how to navigate a phone or a computer. That's
Right.
old people. And who's going to die and go away? Old people. They're going to die and go away.
Yeah.
So, you could think young, like me. I'm thinking young. I'm going to turn 52. I'm like, I mean, I'm around young people. Be young and embrace those things. Like those younger people, they show me and teach me how to do things. That's very important. But there are going to be old people, even those who speak Spanish and are living in Mexico or anywhere else, and they're going to be hearing the message of the prosperity that is in America, that same message that's been going out for, I guess, a couple hundred years now. And it's true because it is the freest place where you have these first, second, third, fourth, fifth amendment rights, etc., that are in people's heads. That people just know, whether they're military or police or anyone working in any industry, they know that it would be best for people to have those respected because they want their rights respected. So they dish out what they want to receive. People are not completely hypocritical, and that's one of the amazing things, that there's people really don't understand how amazingly beautiful and wonderful opportunity living right now is, because if you focus on mainstream media, you would think we're living in a dystopian hell. Reality is, this is the time where there's more prosperous people than ever. There's the lowest amount of infant mortality. There's the lowest amount of poverty worldwide, lowest amount of suicide worldwide, and there's like brief increases when you have a thing like World War COVID, but they're tiny in comparison to the real devastation that happened in the previous world wars, in the previous 80-year cycles that you can look up in the book Pendulum. And boy, man, I needed in my marketing budget to be like, I need to be able to send like every host I go on their show to send them this book, just for the fun of it. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that's gonna be in my budget coming up for this year.
Thank you. And thank you for what you're doing. I'm going to ask you one last question. Since we've learned that the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, Davos, Switzerland, that whole gang of demons pumped tens and even hundreds of millions of dollars into Rumble.
Okay, that's an allegation I made. I did not fact check this one yet.
Okay.
So viewers and listeners out there, please go ahead and look into this. But
Okay.
what's your question about it?
What you're building a great platform for many of us. We put our trust in you. We come on board. We're part of the family, and we're synergistically working together financially, because I know it's not a free service, and it shouldn't be, and it's not on the others either. Um, how what guarantee do I have that the same won't happen? Some Soros type is going to come in and buy you out and go, okay, all these people we have on here who are preaching truth, freedom, democracy, as designed by our United States Constitution, because we are a constitutional republic, we got to shut this down, or we got to start eradicating them or making them comply. How, what's my guarantee that's not going to happen with you?
If we were in the fortunate position to receive hundreds of millions of dollars, we would never make any clause that would stop us from starting up another different branded company and offering that. But this time we would do it even stronger. And I think that the ruling class knows this, so that they have no incentive to pay us for this. They have no incentive at all. But we could never sign away our ability to compete and distribute media, because that we don't have a price for that one. And I think that there is no guarantees in life. Guess what? It's dangerous. Don't go live in a bunker if you want safety. But I personally like the sun and fresh air and gardens and like hiking and
Encroaching
nature.
jungles.
Yeah, because that's part of life. You got to push that jungle away and have a lawn and make an orchard, make some fruit trees on there, make some gardens
Right.
happen,
Right.
because there's lots of jungle out there and there's lots of danger. There's lots of predators, and part of
Mm.
this life is that what you think of, you're bringing into your life. So beware, you guys who are watching lots of mainstream media, watching things and trying to like catch them in their lies and things like that. You're putting your energy and time into things when you could be out there literally planting a garden, literally going to freedomcells.org and finding like-minded people who are near you right now. And I there's a freedom cell near me. I know that there's people all over the place. I'm in a rural island. There's less than
Freedom
200,000
Freedom
people living
Cell,
there.
Freedom
Yeah.
Cell,
So
SELL.
S CELLS. Cells, like as in the cells of our body.
Got it.
freedomcells.org. You can
Okay.
go there, enter in your location, and you can find freedom-oriented individuals and make a little cell of people. Meet them. Go over and hang out with them.
Darrell,
Go
this
have
is
a hang.
awesome. I've been saying this for so long. We're going to have to start taking care of ourselves because we have a world dead set against us, a world that's controlled by the enemy at this point. There's a time coming that Jesus is coming back and he's going to go, okay, that's it. You all have had your fun. Now it's time to do it the way we originally intended it to be done. And God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Amen and amen. However, in the meantime, we've got to start protecting ourselves like this. Every time I'm a public speaker, I always include this. It's time for us to get together, find a way to get some medical supplies. There are what they call PMAs, private membership associations, that are popping up.
Yeah.
We need more and more of that kind of thing because we've got a government that seems to be dead set against us, that hate us. The current people in control despise us and despise the fact that our own Republican Party, of which I am part of that party, so many of them hate the fact that we're saying, no, 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 you're not going to get to keep running the party. There's no uniparty anymore. We don't want it. We don't want that. That's not what we're all about. And if you disagree with that, we're going to make sure we get you out of there. And it's happening. Mitt Romney quitting, Turtle quitting. We got, what's his name? McCarthy down in Bakersfield quit. These people are bailing because they're figuring out finally, we're not going away and we're not going to take it anymore. It's like the old 1980s school song, we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. We're just not. So we got to come together like this. And that makes me happy that you talked about Freedom Cells, CELLS.org. I'm going there. As soon as I get off with you, I'm going to check that out. And I hope everyone else does too. But in the meantime, also go to contentsafe.co and find out what they're doing there, especially if you do this kind of thing. You're doing a podcast or something. And I've built up pretty good friendship with a lot of people who are doing the same thing. And I'm going to tell them about you. Definitely, I'm going to tell them about you. Anything else you want us to know, my friend?
I just think that, okay, here's the deal. If you are feeling risky and intense like about things, go ahead and learn about Bitcoin because it's not going away. And I know that the price is going to correct. I saw $66,000 Bitcoin this morning. But what I mean by that is like learn that this is not going away. This is it's basically a Swiss bank account in your pocket, can cross international borders with like untold amounts of wealth, literally millions, and no one can take it away from you if you know how to use it. If you're not old of heart and old of mind, get younger, grow some, learn from that. And John Bush at the Free Academy, livefreeacademy.com. I know that he's the one who actually promotes that. He created freedomcells.org. He's one of our clients at Content Safe. He's pretty awesome. He's out there. And there are a lot of ways you can learn. You don't have to be stuck in the old way. And by all means, please, if you liked the message of growing the audience, grow the audience, solve problems of the audience, get on contentsafe.co, and that's where we're going to solve problems. It's so awesome to be on Do Not Talk with you, Charlie. This was great.
Thank you, my friend. I'm glad that you appreciate what we're doing because I appreciate you, and I'm glad I met you. I'm looking forward to getting more involved with what you're doing. And wow, thanks so much, my friend. Stand by.
Thank you
I
so
got
much.
more to talk to you about. Hang on. I am Charlie Simons. This is Do Not Talk, talking about two things you're never supposed to talk about, religion and politics. He talked about the marketing. Most people buy off emotion, which is so funny because I tell you about My Pillow and MyPillow.com and Mike Lindell, who's one of my heroes, an actual true patriot, making things happen, put his life, his fortune, everything on the line. He's been kicked. He's been knocked down. He's been had his phone taken away by the FBI. That should be enough for you to prompt you to go to mypillow.com/Lee and actually buy those products made in the United States of America, not in China, made in the USA. High quality ingredients, great price. And here's the emotional part. You can save up to 80%. So there you go. Using my name, my middle name is the promo code. mypillow.com/Lee. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Liking, subscribing, and sharing helps this show grow. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, may America bless God.